How is it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is Blake here. I'm just wanting to make a quick little short video to teach you guys how to uncap your frame rates as well as disable the depth of field and motion blur effects in Fallout 76. I'll go ahead and I'll just jump right into it simply because it's a really quick process. I've got it here in my quick access, but basically what you're going to do is go ahead and open up File Explorer here on your Windows computer, get in your documents, My Games, Fallout 76, and then you're going to find a document here that's labeled Fallout 76 Preferences. It's an INI file. You're going to open this up in your notepad or whatever typical note document you have used to edit. And all you're going to go ahead and do is come through this listing here, and there's a couple things that you need to change basically. First and foremost, you'll find the option that's labeled, let me locate it here, present interval equals 1 is what it'll be by default. You'll simply erase that 1 and put a 0 in. You'll click File and you'll click Save. It's as easy as that to remove the frame rate cap. Previously, this is something that you wouldn't be able to do prior to this patch that was actually released earlier this morning. But as a result of them, releasing this patch, I don't know what they did differently. Now you're able to change it as you were in the beta. Now, another thing that I want to go ahead and discuss here as well is coming into the image space. We've got depth of field. We've got, I don't know what this is. Oh, motion blur is probably what it is. We got lens flare, screen space, bokeh. I went ahead and I put all these to 0 simply because they're things that you don't want on if you want your game to look a little bit more clear. Another thing that you can also do in here is change your anti-aliasing to FXAA if you'd like. So right now I've got TAA on. You'd simply go ahead, erase this, and type in FXAA. But because I've got a higher end computer, I'm going to keep it on TAA, and you'll click File, and then Save. Now, if some of you guys noticed here, I've got my FOV slider set to 115 as well. This is something that isn't quite incorporated into the game. I even added this as a line. This line doesn't technically exist. But let me try this really quick. We're going to see if it works. I know that by default it had 0.00 at the end. Maybe for whatever reason they fixed this as well or made it usable again. So we're going to go ahead and launch the game and see how it runs. And once again, as I said previously, this isn't something that was usable, with the initial release of the game. You weren't able to uncap your frame rate. They had some sort of like server halt, I think, on the frame rate cap, so you wouldn't be able to do so. But as you can see here, I've got 1700 FPS in the menu. It's kind of jumping around a little bit because there's stuff moving on in the background. And I would see this even prior to this patch today. I would see about 2000 FPS in the menu, whatnot. Everything would be normal. But in-game is where it really shines. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to launch the game here. And we're going to see what kind of frame rates we have within the actual game itself. This will let us know for sure if this is working or not. Which I'm nearly certain it's going to work. I've already tested it a couple times. And this is something that I find really neat, to be honest. Makes the game much more enjoyable. Alrighty, we're loading in. My base is loading in right now as well. As you can see, it's all rendering in. Currently, I'm pulling about 70 FPS, 80 FPS. I get much higher, obviously, once I'm not streaming this quality or recording the quality. And I've actually even got some of the graphics turned down a little bit so that when I'm not recording, I do get a stable 144. But even recording through OBS here, we're looking at some decent quality. Stab this guy really quick. Voila. Pretty easy, pretty easy. And as you can see, my frame rates are really solid. I'm pulling at least 100 FPS here. This is while recording, and some of my graphics settings right now. We'll go into that really quickly. I'm running a GTX 1080 with an i7 8086K, but they're all at base clocks currently. I haven't overclocked or anything, and 16 gigs of RAM. But as for my graphics here, texture quality is on the highest it can be. I turned these down to medium just so I could get a more consistent 144 FPS. If I were to crank them all up to high as well, I'd still be getting well over 60, probably in the 70-80 range, while I'm not actually recording. But furthermore, this was just a quick video here on removing that FPS cap, as well as removing the depth of field effect, as you can see a little bit further in the distance. I'd recommend that you definitely keep on TAA if you do this. If you've got FXAA, things tend to get very, very grainy in the background. So that's just a personal preference of mine. Maybe you guys will think the same. But anywho, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in to catch a snippet of this video and possibly learn a couple new things about the files of the game itself. Furthermore, it doesn't look like the FOV slider worked properly, but that's okay. They're going to be incorporating that in the later patches of the game, as they've already noted. If you guys like this content and would like to get some more content, stay tuned. I'll be uploading more for sure. And in the future, I might even be uploading some actual gameplay content. Just let me know what you guys think. And adios.